is a First Coast News On Your Side special report.
Good afternoon. I'm Jeannie Blaylock here at First Coast News. We're breaking in right now because there seems to be an emergency, or has been an emergency, at the Jacksonville International Airport. So here's what we know right now. I do want to tell you this is just breaking. We're just getting some details. The Jacksonville International Airport is now closed, and all roads in and out of the airport are restricted. We understand now that all flights from the Jacksonville International Airport are grounded. We were initially told that 3 cars were on fire at the Jacksonville Airport, and we now hear that it's 5 or 6 or maybe even more. We don't know how many cars are on fire in the parking garage there. It's apparently the hourly parking garage across from where you pick up passengers at the terminal. Airport officials tell us the fire started on the 3rd level of that daily parking garage. This is video we've just gotten in from one of our viewers, and you can see the smoke. We have been told the smoke was very, very black. If you're anywhere near the airport, you've probably seen it. Although in the last 20 minutes, we're told the smoke has started to turn more gray and white and seems to be diminishing somewhat. Now, according to the airport's website, that garage 95% full when all of this happened. We spoke with the general manager at the DoubleTree, which is the only airport on the airport, or rather the only hotel, I should say, on the airport property. They have been seeing quite a bit of fire and rescue vehicles, and the airport manager has now referred us to Jeremy Lassiter, who is the manager of the front desk at the DoubleTree on the airport property. And Mr. Lassiter, we appreciate your joining us right now. Let's talk a little bit about what you have been seeing from your vantage point. First of all, for people who don't know, how close is your hotel, the DoubleTree Hotel, to the airport terminal?
We're about 500 yards or so.
Okay, and so when did you start seeing smoke, Mr. Lassiter?
I came in around 12:15, and I could see it over the Air Ops building as I was coming into the airport property.
And so for people who don't know, you're saying the Air Ops building, where is that?
That's the glass building, the very first building on the left as you come into the airport.
Okay, so just to make sure everybody understands, am I correct to say that when you get in line to go pick up your passengers who've come on a flight, you're in that area there where you're not supposed to park, right? You have to keep going around and around and around, and oftentimes people go by your hotel near a parking garage as they're waiting for their passengers to come off the planes. Is that correct?
Correct. It would go Air Operations building, the cell phone lot, our hotel, and then the parking garage.
Okay. And Mr. Lassiter, do you mind if I just call you Jeremy for this? I'm going to do that if that's all right. So Jeremy, tell us what you're seeing right now.
So right now, or when I came in, I saw smoke coming over the Air Ops building. Went around park, came out to the front of the hotel. I could see smoke on the left-hand side of the parking garage. As of now, it's cleared up a lot. It's gone from like a dark black to like a gray to almost white.
Okay.
I haven't been outside to check.
Okay, so the phone call's breaking up just a little bit on my end, but I think you said, and correct me if I'm wrong, that you were seeing black smoke and now the smoke seems to be more gray and white. Is that right?
Last I saw it, correct. I haven't been out there in a while to check.
Okay, we're looking right now at a live shot reiterating that all flights are grounded now from the Jacksonville International Airport. We were seeing smoke in the skyline right there, and I don't see it as much right now. Is there any estimate you would give us on how many fire and rescue vehicles? Oh, it sounds like we may have just lost the phone call. But he told me earlier that he was trying to take a shuttle onto airport property, and he was not allowed to go on that property. But as you see that, it fits what we're hearing from officially the airport. All roads in and out of Jacksonville are restricted. The Jacksonville Airport, that would be, and then the garage 95% full. We have seen pictures from a while ago within the last hour of pretty intense flames inside that parking garage. So we don't know how many cars were involved. As I mentioned, first we were told 3, then another caller told us 5 or 6, and then somebody else told us it was probably a lot more than 5 or 6. You can see there are intense flames right now in that hourly parking garage there. And if I'm not, and I may be wrong here, but it seems to me like that is the parking garage that you can also walk across on an elevated level onto the terminal. But we're going to have to find out some more details. We are expecting the airport officials or JFRD to have a press conference soon, but we're not sure what time that's going to be. But you can see how thick that smoke was, and as you can imagine, how many JFRD rescue and official operations personnel rushed to that scene. we want to check right now with the smoke levels and the wind levels with our meteorologist, Robert Smeta. Smeta, we are just getting a grip on what's going on out there. And so, Robert, is it windy out there? Do we need to be concerned about that?
You know, the wind is kind of moderate. It's about 10 to 15 miles per hour. And you can see right there that smoke plume kind of getting blown off. Good news is that I don't see it on radar. I mean, I got a couple little blimps here. I'm not sure if it's clutter or if that is the actual smoke being picked up. The problem is that this is at the airport, so it's right next to the radar, likely flying below the radar here. But if you're out there, Route 17, I-95, over the past hour, I'm sure people did see it. I mean, we could see it on our cameras here, just due to that generally a west to east flow coming right across the airport here. The sea breeze actually is butting up right along our coastal areas. So if we do get any additional smoke, that is going to be moving basically due east right up Airport Road there out towards I-95. But it did look like when we were seeing it was a bit elevated, so it wasn't at least reducing visibility or anything like that. Another thing we were talking about, there is some road closures, so you just want to avoid this general area, obviously. But just heading right up towards the airport, we do have all those backups there. You want to avoid that area due to the fire, and this is even cascading back towards the east here with some backups as well. So plenty going on there with this fire. And on top of that, I do want to say one more thing here, Jeannie. It is hot. So for the firefighters out there fighting this, I mean, we got temperatures into the 90s. The heat index is up into the mid to high 90s, of course, outside of the fire. So a lot of different impacts coming with this, but at least for now, not seeing a big plume here on radar, but we were seeing that on the camera with that smoke kind of going west to east. So still could be looking at reducing air quality east of the airport between that and I-95. Jeannie?
All right, Robert, we'll check back with you in just a moment. As we mentioned, we do have crews on the way to the Jacksonville International Airport. I don't know how easy it is going to be for them to get anywhere close, because we've been told that the roads in that area are restricted or blocked off. And we just talked with Jeremy from the Doubletree, and he said that he tried to just take a shuttle and was not allowed to go down those main roads that access the airport. We do have a tweet from the Jacksonville International Airport. Let me read that to you. It says, due to a fire in the hourly garage, the airport is currently closed. JFRD is on site working the issue. JSO has blocked inbound and outbound road access to the airport. Additional details will be forthcoming soon. Possibly the good news here is that we understand that the smoke has become gray and white, not black. But from the video that we've been sent from a viewer, the smoke and the flames were intense inside that hourly parking garage. So I don't know how many cars were involved. I hope that people weren't in the garage. We've heard nothing at all about anybody injured, but we're going to find out more about that hopefully fairly soon from JFRD. Right now, let's talk with a structural engineer, Ron Wood. We hear from him often here in Jacksonville. He is such an expert on structure and building and safety codes that he is often an expert witness in trials at the courthouse. So Ron, thank you for joining us this afternoon. Can you hear me now, Ron?
Yes.
Okay. So what do you know about the structure of this parking garage? It was on not the first level, but up above. So is there any danger this would just all collapse?
It's not likely. I mean, fire does affect concrete pretty significantly, particularly if it's for a long fire. However, fairly often the damage comes from when they put the fire out. The sudden cooling causes the concrete to crack.
And just to be specific, this was the third level of the daily parking garage. Do you know anything about the structure of that specific garage and what level 3 would mean?
No, other than it's a reinforced concrete structure.
So we all think about some of the other fires that we've had around town, and then not a fire, but at the hospital at Ascension a while back, we had that parking garage collapse. No flames involved in that, but we know the aftermath was really difficult for the employees. They had their cars up there. Their cars were smashed and crushed together, and it's a tricky operation trying to get all that out safely. What concerns you about that?
Well, the structure has to be inspected pretty carefully at this point to make sure that it's safe for vehicles and safe to stay in place without any additional shoring that would have to be done.
And that's, I think, the only place that you can park there hourly. There's a parking lot near there as well, and then the economy lots are farther away, of course. And sometimes when I've been in a hurry, I have parked in that parking garage. You have to wait in line, you go up a ramp, or you can just get your ticket and then go in, and then as you leave, it's a exit pay and park quite a ways away from the garage itself. But have you parked in that garage before, Ron?
Many times, yes.
Okay, so there's obviously an elevator in there. And am I correct that there is an elevated ramp that goes from that parking garage over to the airport terminal itself?
Yes, there is.
So when we talk about safety after this fire is put out, and hopefully nobody has been injured or they were in their cars, and we don't know that yet, what's it going to mean for the surrounding terminal areas? Because it's pretty close by, isn't it? Right across the street.
Yeah, it's very close to the terminal. It shouldn't affect anything with the terminal other than access.
And so how will that process work for them to actually check that out? And how long does it take for something like that to cool, first of all?
Yeah, well, it's probably cooled if they've put the fire out. They've probably used a lot of water. The next step is to inspect to see if there's been any significant damage to the concrete short term, and then to evaluate the concrete long term for any damage.
And we do have an update now on road closures. Yankee Clipper Road, you know, is the one that goes into the airport. That's what you drive on mainly to get into the road or into the airport. And that road is no longer restricted. It is closed. So they are taking all the precautions they can possibly take at this point. And there's a map right there to show you what we're talking about. Yankee Clipper, the main road, the access road, where you pass the hotels and drive down and see all the satellite parking lots before you drive exactly into the airport. And so, Ron, is there anything else that you want to add to us from your observations so far?
No, I just think that the concrete needs to be inspected and carefully evaluated before any additional traffic is put back on it.
And from your knowledge, where will that fall as far as investigations? Would it be state or local, or who would come out to do that inspection?
That would probably be local. The airport authority would most likely engage that.
And so, Ron, let's just make it clear to people that we do not know at this point a lot of things. We don't know the basics. We don't know if a car exploded. We don't know how it caught fire. We don't know if anybody was in the garage. We know it was 95% full at about that time. So we've heard nothing at all on some very important information.
Yes, that's information that we obviously need at this point.
That's true. So at least we can say now that the area is secure as far as nobody else entering in that airport area, and that they have gotten the fire, at least from what we've been able to understand from people who are near there, that it seems to be getting better. But am I correct that if the smoke is now gray and white versus black, that would be potentially good news, progress?
It's probably certainly on its way out in terms of the fire itself.
But you're talking about cars and gasoline and whatever's in that. How does that affect the integrity of the concrete?
Obviously, that creates a hotter fire, and so that has a greater effect on concrete. Anything above about 800 degrees will cause an effect to the concrete, both short-term and long-term.
And so if the cars are on fire, multiple cars, how hot does that get? Above 800?
Typically, yes. I mean, it can be up into the 1,000-degree range, maybe even higher.
And so I don't know if you can see the TV where you are right now, but we're looking again at this video from one of our viewers of very intense orange flames, a lot of billowing smoke. And I'm sure people all over the area, as you're driving up 95 North, you're going, oh my gosh, what's going on over there at the airport? And so, Ron,
if it can be seen from 95, it's significant.
Okay, so you can see it how far away, I'm sorry, did you say, Ron?
If it can be seen from I-95, it's a significant fire.
Okay. Well, we hope it's getting better, but we do appreciate your help. That's Ron Woods, a structural engineer, and we go to you often for all kinds of issues around town that involve structures and fires and damage and inspections. So I know that we'll be talking to you again soon. Let's go back over to our meteorologist, Robert Speta. And when you look at that smoke, and that was from a little bit ago, probably now 45 minutes ago, what does that tell you about that smoke spreading possibly?
Well, I mean, just the black smoke, that was a fresh fire right there. If it's starting to change for the gray, at least that's indicating water is getting put on it. But generally, it looks like that video was taken from right on the terminal looking towards the parking garage there, and you can see how the smoke was kind of billowing up and blowing off towards the east. And in fact, every so often, you guys, right there, it's really small, but I think that was some of the smoke getting picked up there on radar. It's so close to the airport, it's kind of hard to tell. But as Ron just mentioned there, you know, could you see it from the I-95? I mean, we could see it on our tower cams closer to Jacksonville, so a very large fire indeed. I know this sounds like a lot of gibberish. It looks like gibberish, but just really quick, I want to mention the meteorological world. This FU at 002, that is the Jacksonville International Airport. Our friends at the National Weather Service actually putting out on the weather observation. They could see it 200 feet. They had a layer of smoke billowing up from the airport there, so it is being picked up even on weather observations, and that started just at 12:41. That's when they did the specie there, is what we call it, when there's something new and significant popping up there in the conditions around the airport. So that's about the time where they were looked outside and they went, okay, all right, there's something going on there. Generally west to east winds. So if we're going to see any reduce in air quality, it's basically going to be right up Airport Road. So extending from the airport, running up out towards I-95, International Boulevard there as well. You know, all those areas, that's where you're going to be seeing, if we do have any reduced in air quality. If you walk outside, you're definitely smelling it all the way up towards I-95 and even east of I-95, possibly extending all the way out towards Amelia Island. I'm sure if you go outside, it might be smelling a little bit interesting or a little bit different, and that's what you're smelling there, just due to that westerly breeze. Now, if you're just towards the west of the airport, completely different situation. It's just kind of this light breeze carrying all that smoke away. Do want to look at traffic conditions real quick, because here's I-95, and then you can see here in the reds, it's already backed up all the way back over towards the interstate. We're starting to see some delays being picked up there. Then you got International Airport Boulevard. That's what I think I said International Boulevard, International Airport Boulevard. Got some backups there, likely traffic kind of getting funneled off. And then you get closer to the airport, and that's where we're talking about actually Yankee Clipper. They also Dixie Clipper Drive. Both are closed at this time, basically inbound and outbound from the airport, as we talked to a few people just a moment ago, saying that they couldn't even get shuttles out of here. I mean, you got to let the emergency services do what they do there. But if you're heading towards the airport or anywhere around the airport, Airport Road, be ready for some road closures, or just avoid the area if at all possible. And on top of that, I've been kind of pointing this out too, the heat temperatures into the 90s, the heat index is the mid to high 90s. That doesn't really have anything to do with the fire directly, but it definitely is affecting the people out there fighting it there around the tarmac. I'm sure it is hot for the firefighters, so something to keep in mind too here, Jeannie. But right now, I mean, at least I'm not seeing anything significant on radar, but I can tell you that west to east breeze, if you are east of the airport, you're probably at least going to be smelling a little bit of the smoke out there.
All right, very much. Thank you so much. I appreciate that, Robert. You'll keep us posted. I mean, you're probably wondering, though, if all the airline flights are not taking off or landing right now, what's going to be happening? Where will the flights go? If you have somebody you're expecting to come in or you have a flight booked out. I'm checking FlightAware right now. It looks like it's just popping up into their statistics. It's very difficult to see any overall numbers right now. I see that 20% of the flights have been canceled in and out of Philadelphia from here. So I don't have an exact number, but as Robert's saying, if you do have a flight this afternoon, you definitely want to not just head on out to the airport, or if you're going to pick someone up, you want to know that that airport area right now is closed to traffic. We don't know when it's going to reopen, and so before you just drive in and get caught in all that, make sure that you check and see if that flight has indeed come in, or if it's been delayed or sent to another airport. So just to recap right now, this is the breaking news going on right now. You're seeing the airport roads being restricted. We understand that the Yankee Clipper Road, that main road, is not just restricted, it's closed. And so what's going on if you're just joining us? The Jacksonville International Airport is now closed, as are roads in and out of the airport. All flights are grounded, and right now there's the reason. You're seeing it from one of our viewers, a very intense hot fire in the parking garage. This is the daily parking garage level 3 that we're told. At first we were told it was a couple of cars and it's impossible to count and see how many cars were there, but we do know that it was 95% full at the time this fire was reported around 12:15, best we can tell. We talked with one of the administrators, one of the managers at the DoubleTree, which is the only hotel on airport property, and they started seeing the smoke and got concerned about 12:15. And so airport officials tell us the fire started, as we say, on the third level of the daily parking garage, and according to the airport's website, that garage was almost full. So we do not know if anybody's injured. We don't know anything about that at all, because it is obviously a dangerous area right now that JFRD is handling. Although there seems to be some good news. People who are on that property at the DoubleTree tell us that the smoke is no longer black. It is whitish and gray, which may mean there's some progress in fighting that fire. We do have a crew on the way out there, and we've understood that there have been a lot of JFRD vehicles and sirens going off for the last hour and a half or so. And as soon as our crew gets there, we'll be able to have some more information. Most of all, we are hoping that JFR has a press conference soon. And we are getting someone from the Jacksonville Aviation Authority, Michael Stewart. I understand that he is hopefully going to be on the phone with us shortly to give us some very concrete information. I'm giving everything that I know right now, and as you can tell from listening to me, the details are very sketchy, but this is a major piece of breaking news, so we wanted to keep you posted. We do have this tweet from the Jacksonville International Airport. That's the latest official information that we have. And if you could tell me when this tweet came out, if someone's listening, a producer right now, I think it's been at least about a half an hour or so ago, 12:45 p.m. Okay, so that gives you a time frame to look at when this information, the last bit of official information that we've had. Oh, good news. We now have Michael Stewart on the phone, so we are able to get some concrete information now officially from the Jacksonville Aviation Authority. He is the director. Michael, thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate it. First of all, everybody is wondering, was anybody hurt? Is anybody injured?
Right now, we have no reports of injury as a result of the fire in the garage.
Okay.
But that's all I have right now.
Okay, so please tell us everything that you can. We are anxious to hear your information.
Approximately noon today in our hourly garage, a vehicle caught fire and immediately spread to a number of other vehicles. We know there's some structural damage in the garage, and it'll be sometime later today before we can actually get in there to determine how much damage there is. Currently, the airport is closed, and we are working on whatever it takes to get that back open. We strongly suggest that if you are flying or you were planning on coming to the airport to pick up passengers, to check with your airlines on the status of those flights.
Michael, do you anticipate the airport reopening today?
Yes, we do. We can't be specific on time, but we're working to get it back open as soon as possible.
Is the fire out?
Well, the last report I had was that it was controlled, but the JFRD is on scene and obviously making sure that it is safe, because all cars in there will have gasoline or an electric battery. So the smallest of ignition could cause more damage, so we want to make sure it is safe before anyone is allowed near the garage.
So is it true that the garage was 95% full? We have that on our screen right now. That was according to a website that we saw. Is that your understanding as well?
Correct.
Okay, so how many cars fit into that third floor of that parking garage?
I couldn't tell you on particular floor, but in the hourly garage, it's around 2,000 cars that would be in there when it is full.
So if it's 95% full, we're talking about hundreds and hundreds of cars that would have been involved or at least close to this fire. Do we know if there were cars damaged or on fire below the level 3?
It's too soon to get in there to determine the extent of the damage and how many cars.
Has anybody seen patients being taken away at all by ambulance? You said as far as you know there were no injuries, but is that still up in the air?
I have no reports of injury at this time.
I hope not. I mean, I've been in that garage when I've been the only one on my entire level, but I've been in the garage when it's been more full. So we hope that that's all clear. And if you could just please delineate for us which roads are closed. Can we get that officially, please, from you?
Yeah, that would have to come from JSO. We have them working the traffic in and around the airport, and I couldn't give you the latest on that.
Okay, and as far as flights, are they already being diverted to, say, Atlanta or other airports? How is that being handled?
Well, that is being handled by the FAA and the individual airlines. But yes, once we go into a closed status, flights are diverted.
So that's already been happening.
Correct.
Okay, so what are you doing with the passengers who are already in the airport waiting for an airplane?
Well, we have those passengers and employees sheltered in place right now.
I'm sorry, can you please repeat that? I couldn't quite hear what you said.
I said passengers and employees are sheltered in place at the terminal.
So when you say sheltered in place, does that mean they are not allowed to leave, or what does that mean exactly, please?
Well, for safety's sake, they're not allowed to get back to the garage if they had a car there. And if we want to keep them clear of the area where the JFRD is working the site, and if they have people coming to pick them up, they'll have to go through where JSO is coordinating traffic.
So some people are being allowed to leave the airport and meet up with their families via JSO instructions?
If they can get to where those pickup points have been determined.
And they've got to be safe, of course, right. And if I
Yes.
may ask, please, what airports are you using as far as passengers that still need to fly out and airplanes? Would that be mainly Atlanta or?
Well, that's an airline call. So if individuals, like we strongly suggest, can stay in contact with their airlines, and the airline will make those changes and updates as necessary.
Okay. And I was wondering as well, as far as inspecting this parking garage, under whose auspices will that be? Who will actually be carrying out that investigation and the inspection of the parking garage at the Jacksonville International Airport?
Well, we will handle the contracting of that. We don't have the specific contractor on standby.
Sure. And anybody you've talked to, did anybody hear anything explode? Not that we know the cause of the fire, but were there explosions?
None that have been reported.
Okay. And is there any message that you want to give out to passengers who are just worried because they thought they had somebody at the airport?
Well, right now, like I've said, we have no reports of any injuries. If you're at the airport and you were looking for your flight, once again, check with your airlines. If you're in traffic, follow JSO and stay away from the areas that JFRD is working the garage-ish fire.
And Michael, if you don't mind, please, is there just one main road? I always drive that same road into the airport. Is that the only public access, the Dixie Clipper, or is it Yankee Clipper Road into the airport?
No, there's multiple accesses to the Pecan Park Road, International Airport Road, are other access points.
Okay, Pecan Road, International Airport Road, and I'm sorry, the other one, please?
Pecan Park and International Airport Road off of 295.
Okay, and then Dixie Clipper?
Correct.
Okay,
That's
so
the primary airport
those are the three
road
main
off of 95. Yes.
Off of 95. Those are the three main access roads for the public to get to their flights, right? Okay.
Correct.
Okay. As far as any instructions that have been given to people at different terminals and inside the gates, are they supposed to remain at the gate, say they're at gate B4 or something, or are they allowed now to wander around the airport?
Well, inside of the airport is completely safe. If it's their choice if they want to stay pre-security or post-security, but there are people giving instructions at the terminal.
Have you been in the terminal? Have you heard from anybody? Is it calm inside the terminal, or are people? I mean, if
I have not been there myself. I'm over in the administration building.
I know. Okay. And how far away are you then from in the admin building?
The admin building, I would guess, is about a quarter mile.
Because if I were in the airport right now and I saw that fire right there across the street, I'm sure I would be concerned and asking all sorts of questions. But at this point, everybody you're saying is safe who is inside the airport terminal.
Correct. There are updated announcements directing individuals what to do while the professionals handle the situation outside of the terminal.
Okay. And I know you have other things to do, Michael, and we do appreciate your help. Just in summary, I want to make sure I'm correct. There is capacity in that daily parking garage for 2,000 cars. Is that right?
Approximately.
Okay, and it was 95% full. As of right now, no reports of any injuries. And people just need to check with their airline to see whether or not they should come to the airport or where the airplane is going to be going, if it's taking off or not. And you do hope that you're going to reopen Jacksonville International Airport today. Is that still correct?
That is correct.
You've been very patient with us, and we do appreciate your being on the phone today. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Have a good day.
And also, we're going to be speaking right now to Bella. I understand that she's the one who's taken this video that we've seen over and over again, but it shows the flames. This was earlier today. And Bella, can you hear me right now?
Yes, I can.
Okay, Bella, thank you so much. Are you a passenger, or how did you wind up taking this footage today?
I was a passenger. I was sitting in the back seat.
Okay, were you headed into the garage? Tell me what all happened. What'd you see?
So when I was heading in, there wasn't really anything going on. There was a little fire rescue truck. And then I got to my mom, and she was like, look, there's a fire. And I couldn't even see it at that point, and we weren't even in a rush. But it definitely escalated quickly. And so we both got in the car, and she's like, video it from the back. And then it was pretty scary driving past. It was very hot, and like you could hear the popping of the cars. And so I was like, please, like, get out of here quickly.
Okay.
And we did make it out good.
And Bella, we do appreciate your being with us. And I just want to be honest with you, the phone call is breaking up just a little bit, so I'm not sure I quite understood your story. And if you don't mind my asking you again, where were you when the fire, you saw? I heard you say it was hot, but I couldn't quite understand what you saw.
I was in the arrivals, and we just saw the cars catching fire pretty quickly, and we're driving past it. And yeah, like I said, it got really hot, and we heard the popping.
And when you say popping, did it sound like something's exploding or just popping from a fire?
Like popping from a fire, just like a campfire, but on a bigger level.
Okay, so were you supposed to get on an airplane, or were you picking somebody up?
I was picking up my mom.
Okay, so you got with your mom. She's okay? Everybody's all right?
Yes.
Okay, that's good news. Okay, very good. All right. Well, Bella, you just hang with us for just a moment, and we're going to check in with our reporter, Riley Phillips, who's at the airport right now. We do appreciate it. We're glad you're safe. We're glad your mom is safe. And let's go now to First Coast News' Riley Phillips. And Riley, where are you right now?
Yes, Jeannie, we are at the cell phone lot here at the airport. We just got here. This is where we're being told the media staging is going to be. So we're still waiting on a time for an update, a press conference, an update on from authorities. But let me show you what we've been seeing. So this is the economy lot. We're here, and you can see police have this road totally blocked off. You can see people parked up that way near the economy lot. This is what we saw driving in. A lot of people pulled off on the side of the airport service road, along the side of International Airport Boulevard. People just parked, presumably waiting to see what's going to happen, if they're going to be able to get to the airport at all today. And then if we swing the camera around, we can show you people who are waiting here at the cell phone lot. People are outside with their bags, with their luggage. It's unclear if they were on their way already at the inside the airport terminal and were told to come back here to the cell phone lot, but a lot of them sitting outside in the shade. It is quite warm out here, Jeannie, so they're just trying to cool off here with their bags. Still no update on when or if the airport is going to open today, but we are seeing some cars parked along the street here as well, right outside of the cell phone lot. So just a waiting game here at the airport right now.
And so, Riley, let me ask you, as far as you're getting to where you are, because those roads are closed around the airport, how did you do that?
Yeah, so my photographer and I took the airport service road that runs parallel to Airport Road, which that is the road you take to go directly to the airport here, and it was backed up. We weren't sure if we were even going to be able to get here. I was starting to get a little nervous that we might miss the press conference just because of how bad traffic was backed up. We actually watched people drive along. There's a median that kind of separates the airport service road from the actual airport road, and we saw people kind of make an illegal turn onto airport road, drive through the median. One car got stuck in the median trying to get onto airport road. I don't know if people did not realize that the road was closed or they were afraid they were going to miss their flight, so they just wanted to chance it. But as soon as enough cars did that, then we saw police block off that airport, that access to airport road. But traffic was backed up. It appears the first blockade is right at Duval Road as you get onto airport road.
Okay, we appreciate that. Have you seen any ambulances or rescue units? Because we were told just now from Michael Stewart with Jacksonville Aviation Authority, excuse me, that he has had no reports of injuries, but that's not conclusive.
You know, we have not seen any ambulances, emergency crews, just police out here right now.
Okay, and then Riley, just as you know too, Mayor Donna Deegan is heading to the airport to get a briefing. We don't know when she's going to arrive or when a next presser would be from JFRD. It seems like a lot of comments from Michael Stewart were directed to JFRD, and we understand that the police now, as you see in this video here live, are directing traffic. And we're told that if you are a passenger and you've already gotten off of your airplane and you're waiting for family to pick you up, you can leave the airport if you can get out safely, and JSO will give you a way out. But obviously, if you're trying to get anywhere near where that fire is or was, you're not going to be allowed to be out of the airport. But understand that inside the airport, we are told that everybody is safe. And so, Riley, you can gather some more information. We'll get back with you just as soon as we can. All right? Thank you so much. So back now, this is the video that Bella took. We have that earlier. She was describing that she had gone to the airport to pick up her mom, and they were driving by, not into the garage, fortunately, but she saw one of the cars catch fire. This is Bella's video. And she said it was so hot they could feel it from in their car driving by. She could hear popping sounds. She did not describe it as explosive sounds, but popping sounds. And so just to go back over some information from Michael Stewart, who's with the Jacksonville Aviation Authority, he was saying that the entrances to the airport, that's Pecan Park, International Airport Road, Dixie Clipper off of 95, International Airport Road, of course, off of 295. Those are restricted areas now. JSO is controlling traffic flow in and out. Don't just drive to the airport now. Check with your airlines and see what's going on with your flight. I asked him, do you expect the airport to reopen today? And he said he is hoping so. But they're going to have to investigate, not only is the fire going to have to be out, but they're going to have to start investigating the structural damage. And as we heard from Ron Woods, our structural expert, our structural engineer, he said when the temperatures get to be around 800 or over 800, even with cars burning with gasoline and with electric vehicles, it can easily top 1,000 degrees, and that can cause structural damage to the concrete. And so obviously there's a major safety issue there. The number that stands out to me among everything I've heard just now was from Michael Stewart, who said that hourly parking garage that we've been seeing on fire holds 2,000 cars, and indeed he confirmed it was 95% full. So that means on the third floor at least, we're going to have hundreds and hundreds of cars, maybe even below it. And we've not had anybody tell us that they've seen an ambulance or a rescue unit. And so we hope that that's okay. If you've driven to the airport, you know, as I was saying, I've been in that parking garage many times. Sometimes you're the only one and you're walking in going, okay, where did I park? And you don't see anybody. Other times there are more people there, but that's a lot of cars, a lot of potential people. So let's just hope that the people who've not seen any ambulances leaving or rescue units leaving, that's an accurate analysis, that nobody's been hurt in all of this. We're going to be speaking with some more people who've seen what's going on. We have heard from Doubletree Inn, that's the only hotel on the property, on airport property. They said they started seeing smoke around 12:15. And so right now, producers, are we going to go back to Bella? She's on the phone right now. Bella is the one who took the video that we've been seeing. And are we able to speak to Bella now? Okay, Bella, thank you so much for hanging out with us. We do appreciate your being with us. The main point from you, I know this is what you care about the most, is you were able to pick up your mom. Where did she fly in from? She's okay. Where did she come in from today?
Milwaukee.
Milwaukee, okay. And did she say when she was landing she could see the smoke? Or was that...
She could not. When she landed, there was nothing. And then when she got out, she heard people talking about a car on fire, and she didn't even see it at first. But the time I got to her, we could see it.
I'm sure she gave you a big hug when she saw you, right?
Yeah.
I would imagine. I would imagine. Anything like this near an airport, I think, just makes people even extra anxious. And we are not going to bring up any questions, but I know people's minds are racing all over the place, wondering what really happened. And we heard from Michael Stewart a minute ago that there was a vehicle that caught fire and it spread to other vehicles. So is there any way from what you saw when you drove by, if you could see, I'm trying to look, are there cars below that don't seem affected, or were you able to tell?
It only looked like the one level was on fire, but it looked like 5 or 6 cars, to be honest.
Okay, and then what's going to happen then is the engineers are going to have to evaluate whether that garage can still stand. And of course, when you have concrete and flames involved, you don't know whether it's going to collapse on itself or not. So I would imagine this is going to be out of work for quite a while. And so Bella, what else were you told when you got to the exit of the airport? Are you gone now, or where are you?
Yeah, we got out of there pretty quickly. We weren't told anything. We just saw the ambulances coming from the other way, or not the ambulances, the fire trucks. But yeah, we just got out of there and went home.
Okay, and so your mom's coming down for a visit then, is that right?
She was visiting Milwaukee.
Oh, she was. Okay, so she's back home. All right, very good.
Yes.
What else did you observe or hear or feel when you drove by that parking garage on fire?
I feel like people weren't really panicking right away. It got like bad fast, so I didn't see any panic. People were still crossing the street and everything. But once we got like up close to it, I definitely started to panic and was like, we got to get out of here.
And so what did people do when they started realizing it was pretty serious and it was spreading quickly?
I think people in cars were definitely trying to get out. I honestly didn't really pay much attention to anyone else.
And what about the traffic? The pedestrians, did people start to run, or did they stay calm?
I did not see that part of it. I didn't see any running or anything, but I can imagine they would. And
just so people understand, if they haven't been to the airport very much, we've been talking about the proximity of this parking garage to where the baggage department is, or baggage handling. Can you tell us more about how close that is to baggage carousels?
Yeah, for sure. It's like a crosswalk away. It's very close.
So you just cross a street where people are picking up passengers, and they don't let you, ever since 9/11, you can't park on that street, right? They make you continue on, and they are pretty strict about that. If you start to slow down or you take too long to put your luggage in a car, they're like, move on, move on. But that's a good thing, especially in this situation right now. So you don't have any plans to fly anywhere. Your mom lives here, so we're good about that. But Bella, again, thank you so much for the video. It gave us a really good look at what's going on, and we do appreciate your taking time to send it to us. I'm sure you might be wondering about the wind conditions. We've been talking with meteorologist Robert Speta, and now our chief meteorologist Tim Deegan is here. And Tim, you know that airport well, and you know the weather conditions, of course, well as well.
Yeah, I've been there a few times. That is for sure, Jeannie. We wanted to give Robert a break because he's been here since, of course, before sunrise. So we're just going to do a few visual representations. This is live shot. In fact, there's a helicopter right there. This is Airport Road west of I-95. Many of us have taken that road. So just wanted to give you that presentation. At least from here, you don't see a lot of billowing smoke. As far as the current conditions, so these are at the airport, and this answers Jeannie's questions. So remember, when we give wind direction, and it says SW, that means southwest, that means that's where the winds are blowing from. In other words, the smoke, and although we couldn't show any on that last shot, there certainly is some smoke there. The smoke is blowing off to the east and to the northeast. So it's going to be blowing toward 95. I'm sorry, I'm just being given some direction from my producer. What is that again? One more time. Okay, okay. I've been told to continue to go, so I certainly will. So winds out of the southwest at 14. So again, that means the smoke is blowing off to the east and to the northeast. So it's blowing toward 95. That is not me saying it's down at 95's level. If you're just wondering which way the smoke plume is blowing, it's blowing toward 95 and to the north of Airport Road. So in other words, if you were to leave the airport and then head north, like let's say toward Fernandina, that's where the smoke is. But in no way am I saying that there's a lot of smoke toward 95. There's another way to look at it. So here is the airport, and what smoke there is would be heading off to the east and to the northeast. Now, if you've been with us through the years or through the decades, you know that with radar, we can typically follow the smoke plume. However, because the radar is right there at the airport, there's a blind spot, and that blind spot does not allow us to see the smoke. Now, in some ways, that's actually good news because the blind spot only extends out about 1.5 miles, and we do not see it going out beyond about that point. So a little discussion about the smoke. Jeannie, back to you.
All right, Tim, thanks so much. Let's go out right now to our Riley Phillips. She is speaking for the first time with someone who I believe saw it or was there. Hi, Riley.
Yes, Jeannie, hi. Yes, I'm still at the cell phone lot where people are waiting to see what's going to happen with their flight right now with the airport closed. I'm here with Macy. So Macy, you can come on into the shot here. So where are you? How long have you been here, first of all?
I've been here about 45 minutes to an hour. Got here about 1 o'clock, 1:15ish, and have been sitting out here in the lovely sun since.
And where are you heading now?
I'm headed to Kansas City, which is home.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what are you feeling right now? How are you doing?
A little anxious. I just rebooked my flights for a flight later tonight, so hopefully when they get all of this cleared up, we'll be able to get on out of here. I'm hoping 4:55 is when my flight will hopefully get out of here, and then I'll head on to Atlanta, hopefully get home. That's my goal. Yeah.
Do you plan to just sit out here in the sun all day?
I'm looking at restaurants and bars close by to see if I can go sit in the air conditioning in some of those places. So yeah.
Has anything, we talked about this earlier, but has anything like this happened to you before? I mean, you travel a lot.
Yes, I travel a lot for work, but nothing to this magnitude, I would say. Being directed because of weather, but never to a fire at an airport has never happened to me before. So.
Have you been hearing anything from your airline specifically about what's going on here?
Airline specifically, I'm flying Delta, but they just kind of said flight delays basically, and then if they wanted to rebook you on a different flight, they were allowing people to do that for no extra charge as well.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for speaking with us here. I'm so sorry that you're going through this, but hopefully you are able to get to a spot that's a little bit cooler. Because, Jeannie, we said this earlier, it is hot out here, especially for all these people who are outside waiting with their luggage. So hopefully everyone can stay cool out here. But thank you.
All right, stay cool and stay safe. All right, thank you, Riley, and thank you so much, Macy. I'm glad everybody got in safely, and hopefully you can get out on that 4:55 flight to Atlanta. But it just shows you what Michael Stewart was telling us, that they are hoping to reopen the airport. If they're already booking some flights at 4:55, so that's not just in a couple of hours, we hope that actually does happen. So we want to tell you, we do have some statements in from Council Member Reggie Gaffner Jr. We're working to get him on the phone so we can talk with him. We understand that he is at the airport right now, but he is from Jacksonville City Council District 8, and he has made this comment on the airport fire, saying, quote, "I am closely monitoring the situation at Jacksonville International Airport, where a fire has broken out in the hourly garage. We will continue to provide updates as more information becomes available on the safety of our residents and our travelers." And we do have Mr. Gaffney on the phone right now. Thank you for joining us. Are you at the airport in the terminal, or where are you, please, Mr. Gaffney?
Hey, Ashley, I'm in the EOC building right now.
I'm sorry, can you tell me again you're where?
In the EOC, the Jacksonville International Airport EOC.
Okay, and what are you seeing right now? What have you been told? Do you have anything official about what might have happened or how the fire is going? Is it out?
Well, right now, everyone is still assessing the situation. It's in the early stages. Just trying to figure out all the details and make sure the airport is safe as possible before opening it back up.
So when you say we're figuring out if the airport is safe, I'm sure people are wondering, is this fire isolated to the garage, or is there any danger at all to anybody else? Is TSA involved in this?
Actually, TSA, I'm not sure. It's a great question.
Okay. And have you talked to anybody who actually saw the fire when it was blazing and the smoke was very, very dark?
So once I arrived at the airport, I talked to anyone who's seen the fire. I immediately came and talked to JFRD to see can I get an update from them.
Okay. And what do you want to tell people who are just nervous about all of this?
Yeah, just pray for our first responders. It's still an active fire. It's in control. Pray for our JSO officers. as well. And just be patient. Hopefully, we can get this under control in the next couple of hours so we can get things back in operations. But just pray, and hopefully we're working to get this under control.
And can you see the garage from where you are?
I cannot.
Okay, but you've been in that garage, though, before, right?
I have before, yes, ma'am.
Okay, so what can you tell us about how close it is to the passengers? We just had a passenger tell us that she was driving by and people were very calm at first, but the fire spread quickly, and then people were really trying hard to drive away and get away from it as quickly as possible.
Yeah, from where I'm parked at, I cannot see the parking garage currently. When I arrived, they already had everything roped off. So I have not seen damage. I do not see any flames right now either. But hopefully in the next few minutes I'll walk over to the parking garage and get a view at it.
Okay, and explain to people as far as government structure goes, who has the power to control what policies are made at the airport and what will happen after this investigation? Will that come from the city or state or what?
I'm in the process of finding them right now.
Because the reason I brought that up, Mr. Gaffney, is we heard earlier that one of the officials was saying that there were possibly electric batteries in some of those cars. So you wonder if that may have sparked something. We've seen garages, we've seen all kinds of problems with EVs, and we don't know if that's something that's going to be addressed or whether it even can be addressed.
Yeah, that's a great question. I can bring that question up for Chief, but that's a great question. I do not have the answer to that.
Okay. Well, at this point, we're all asking questions, and that's okay. And we do appreciate your time. Is there any other message that you would like to give out as a city council member?
No, this pray for all the active JSO and JFRD first responders who are involved in this fire right now. I don't think fatalities or anyone was injured, but just pray for the whole entire situation.
Okay, and
have patience with us.
Right, exactly. And we understand that Mayor Donna Deegan is on her way for a briefing, so she'll be able to give us some more information now. We're looking at some pictures from the passenger pickup area, I believe, which is across the street from the daily parking garage. And it looked to me like people were standing around down there. I don't know if that couldn't have been live, though. I'm not sure. That's not live, is it, producers? No. This is from earlier. I think, we're seeing water being sprayed onto the parking garage there. When you walk underneath there and cross the street, you're right there in the parking garage. And if you are facing where the water is being sprayed, behind you would be the baggage area where all of the carousels are, where you pick up your bags and head on out and go home or go to wherever you're visiting. But City Councilman Gaffney, is there anything else you'd like to say, or should we let you go?
When I have more updates, I'll give you guys a call back.
Okay, we appreciate your time. Thank you so much, and be safe. You see right there that all flights are grounded there at Jacksonville International Airport. If you are just joining us, we had possibly one car caught fire inside the daily parking garage across from where the pedestrians are let out and picked up, and that was on the 3rd floor, and then the fire quickly spread. We've talked to several people now who are either driving by or saw it, and they said at first it didn't seem like too big of a deal, but then the smoke got really black and it spread quickly and people started to get scared. And so let's go back now to our Riley Phillips, I believe she's at the cell phone parking lot. And if people aren't familiar with the airport, give us a lay of the land and tell us, Riley, where that cell phone parking lot is.
Yes, Jeannie, first I just want to say we did get a little bit of an update from Jacksonville Fire Rescue. They are still working on getting a press conference together for us, but we do know that firefighters have, the fire has been knocked down, but they have pulled firefighters back for their safety. So that's the latest update we just got from Jacksonville Fire Rescue. But again, they're still working on getting us more information. They're working on getting that press conference together. We know the mayor is on her way here now, but you just mentioned where this cell phone lot is. So I'm going to swing the camera this way and you can see, so this is the economy lot right now. So you kind of pass the economy lot, and that's one of the last areas that you can kind of turn off to before you get to the main airport terminal. So I would say we're about a minute, 2 minutes away from the main airport terminal. So that's where we are. And again, people are still out here. More people just continue to arrive. I think this is kind of a place people don't know where to go right now. So they're kind of just staying put here and waiting. We do see a helicopter has been circulating. We've not seen any smoke though since we got here, Jeannie, although you can smell the smoke, but we do not see any right now.
Riley, what are people doing with their luggage? I see people standing around, coats over their arms. I think I do see some suitcases there on the grass.
Yes, yeah, people are just here with their luggage, sitting down near their luggage. We watched a man walk over. I think he was dropped off by an airport shuttle and just kind of walked over a hill with his luggage. He also had a suit bag. So a lot of these people, Friday is kind of the time where a lot of people who are here on business, they fly out, they fly back home. So people probably have, suits, suitcases full of clothes, business clothes with them, heavy clothes with them. We did speak with one couple earlier waiting in their car. They are trying to get to their family member's graduation. There's supposed to be a party tonight and then the graduation tomorrow. So they are afraid that they're not going to be able to make that graduation, which I'm sure, it is graduation season, so I'm sure there are people here too in the same boat.
And so I see a JSO car behind you there, Riley. So people are stuck there because the roads are closed and they won't let the loved ones come in and pick them up, and there are no taxis going, or why are they stuck in the grass?
Yeah, I presume that these people who are parked there were on their way, already kind of on this road going towards the terminal when JFRD made the decision to shut down the road and shut down the airport. So I believe they probably got just caught in the middle here. So they weren't able to make it all the way up to the terminal. So they've just parked and they're kind of waiting now to see what's next.
And Riley, you gave one key piece of information from JFRD. Let's repeat that again about the fire and the status of the fire.
Yes, the spokesperson for JFRD says the fire has been knocked down and they are pulling firefighters out for their safety. That's all he could really say. He's not going to expand more until he hears more from the crews on scene. But that right now he is working to gather all the information and working to get Mayor Deegan here as well so they can get us the latest information in that press conference as soon as possible. But he also said it's just going to take time, which I'm sure is not what these people here they want to hear right now.
All right, Riley, I know you'll stand by and talk with people so we can get a feeling for what's going on out there. We appreciate it. So JFRD is saying the fire was knocked down. The airport authority is saying the fire is under control. So both meaning the same thing, nothing raging out of control right now, but not a safe situation at all. Not people are not being allowed in, not even firefighters, because they don't know how sound that structure is with that intense heat. We want to talk to Tom right now. We understand that Tom is on the phone, and I'm just meeting him along with you right now. And so, Tom, hello.
Hi, how are you?
Well, you sound good. Where are you right now?
I'm right near the cell phone lot.
Okay, you're near
I'm escorting some ladies to get to a place where they can call a driver.
Okay, and so do you live in Jacksonville, or what were you doing at the airport?
Yes, I live in Jacksonville. I work at the airport, actually inside the parking garage.
Inside the garage that burned?
Yes, that's correct. But I was on my way to work when it happened.
Oh my gosh. All right. So I'm sure you're glad you were not in the garage. I mean, that's the understatement of the year. Do you have any idea if people were in there? Do you have fellow employees?
Of course. Yes, they're always employees in the garage. In fact, that's why I wished I was there.
Okay.
Because, yes, I mean, our first responsibility would have been to evacuate the building.
All right, Tom, I really want to hear what you're saying. It's important, but I'm having a hard time. If you are walking around, maybe just something might be...
In the wind, yes, ma'am, I'm afraid so.
Okay, I can't quite hear you. If you're walking, could you maybe stand still for a sec? Okay, that might be a little bit better. Okay.
Is this any better?
That's getting better. Yes. Okay. Thank you, Tom. All right. So help me.
I found a windbreak.
Okay. Good. Okay. Now I need you to repeat what you just said. Your job is to evacuate. So was anybody in there?
Yeah, exactly. Would have made sure everyone got out of the building safely.
Okay. So you did evacuate people out of there.
No, I did not. I was still on my way. I was.
Okay. Have you talked to other of your colleagues? Did they have to evacuate people? Did they?
No, I did not speak to any of my colleagues. but I know some of the drivers were making sure that people were getting out.
Some of the drivers, like Uber drivers, or?
No, drivers for the rental car company.
Okay, and so they would have been parked on the street below the garage, though, right?
Yeah, that's on the first level.
And so that's that road right in front of the garage is right where all these rental car companies put their shuttles. Is that what you're saying?
Well, no, they're inside the garage.
They're inside the garage, the rental cars. Okay. Tell us what you know that's important, that we should know about this particular garage. It is the hourly garage, is that correct? That's what the airport said.
Yeah, it would be the hourly garage.
Okay.
What I know is apparently the floor is collapsed from the third floor onto the second. And, yeah, I saw the fire when I was on my way to work. It was a huge amount of black, oily smoke.
Okay, and then how did you know the third floor collapsed onto the second?
I was talking to some of the people that had been following what was going on.
Okay, and then the rental cars, is that all on the first floor?
That is correct.
So the cars on the third floor that were immediately involved with this blaze would be people's private cars?
Yes, that's correct as well.
Okay, all right.
And that's very unfortunate.
That is. And if anybody was in the parking garage then, we haven't heard any reports of rescue units whisking people away or anything like that, but it would be difficult to get out of there quickly.
Oh, no, I'm sure they would get out fine. And I just walked by the row of ambulances, and there are only empty gurneys.
Oh, goodness. Oh, great. Oh, I'm glad to hear. Did you happen to ask anybody if they'd transported patients, or you just noticed the ambulance?
No, I was just walking past.
Okay, well, let's hope that the no injury, what appears to be an observation, stays put. That's what we're all hoping for, that nobody was hurt. Tell us some more about what we need to know about this garage, because that is where you work, Tom.
Yes, ma'am. It's a concrete garage. We're 6 floors on one side, 4 on the other, and very open. So should be okay, other than the structural damage.
5 floors on one side and 6
floors.
6 floors. So 6 floors total.
Well, like I said, on one side, on the daily side.
Okay.
And 4 on the other.
Okay, 4 on the hourly side.
Uh-huh.
It's all part of the same garage that burned?
Yes, it's all connected.
Okay. And this third floor, so it could have been an EV car or a gas-powered car or just a mixture of all different types of fuel that was combustible?
Yeah, it could, definitely. And it's hard to say at this point.
Okay. And then have you talked to how many employees that would have been on shift at this point around noonish today?
Let's see. That would probably be 20 to 30.
Okay. And you've been told that all the employees are okay. Is that right?
That is correct.
And let me just make sure I understand that. 20 or 30 employees would have been on shift at the garage or where?
Work both at the garage and cycling through, because each of the companies employs drivers.
The rental car companies?
Yes.
Okay, so there could have been 20 to 30 employees of the airport in the garage or the various rental car companies in and out. Okay.
The rental car companies, and that would be for all of the rental car companies. Each would have a staff of varying degrees.
Okay. Well, Tom, we're glad you're all right. Thank goodness you didn't go to work early today.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Okay. Well, it looks like there might be a different place for you to work for a while here.
Yes, ma'am. I'm just going to go back and see if I can help some more people.
All right. What kind of help do people need right now?
Well, like I say, I just escorted this group of women to a place where they can get Uber or Lyft.
Okay, and so they were coming to Jacksonville and they couldn't get picked up, or they were just trying to get somewhere on their own?
Couldn't get picked up because all the roads into the airport are shut down.
Some of the people,
and the airport's closed.
Yes, Tom, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Some of the people have told us that the scene was fairly calm, that people were not running. Were these women nervous, or were they just calm and it was all behind them?
No, the only thing they're concerned about is their relative in the hospital.
Which is not involved with the fire. Okay, well, let's hope that they're able to get to the hospital and everything's okay with that person that they obviously care a lot about. Well, Tom, thank you for talking to us. We do appreciate that, and please keep us posted. So we're going to move on now to
Yes,
Christina.
ma'am.
Yes, sir, thank you. Christina Burgess arrived at the airport just moments ago. She is live. And Christina, tell us what you're seeing at the airport now. So we don't hear you, Christina, right at the moment. Apparently, we're having a little bit of audio problem with Christina.
Right next to this cell phone lot where there's also passengers that are just gathered here and standing around together. Now I'm going to come over to Grant and Trinity, who are Yeah, and I'm going to actually go over right now to Grant and Trinity, who's joining me right now. And Grant, you told me that you guys were actually in the airport or over there when this fire broke out.
We were on our way to the airport, and we could see the plume of smoke rising, out of the airport area as we approached. And then, of course, they had all the sheriffs blocking all the road and traffic off, detoured us over to the parking lot, and we just kind of been patiently waiting ever since.
Yeah, and you were even telling me that when you were driving in, you could see the smoke, but you didn't know where it was coming from.
We couldn't tell it was coming from the airport at first. We were wondering. It didn't seem as if it was, but when we got closer, we noticed what was happening.
Yeah, and I mean, what are those initial thoughts when you see it's here at the airport?
We're going to have a long flight.
And tell me, Trinity, as well, I know you're heading to Sacramento, California to celebrate your 21st birthday. What are your thoughts with not having to wait?
It definitely is not that fun because I know my grandpa isn't very happy about, but yeah, we're definitely going to have to be here for a while, definitely. I know that.
And tell me, what time was your flight supposed to be leaving today?
Well, we were scheduled to leave at depart at 1:40, and once we got here about an hour and a half early, so it started then, and we've been waiting since.
And what airline were you guys flying out of?
Southwest.
And have they told you anything? Has the airport given you any updates?
No, actually, when we pulled up, they told us nothing. All they said is it's all closed. That's all they would tell us.
And tell me, how long have you guys been just standing out here and just waiting around?
Wow, since, at least.
I mean,
for a while.
Thank
God it's not 100 degrees today.
And how are you guys going to pass that time? I know waiting. How are you going to pass this time?
Well, we're going to pass it in the shade, apparently.
And I know we've been standing here. You've pointed it out since we've been standing here. We've seen some people walking over to the police cars and trying to figure out where they can go or what they can do next.
Right, and that's it, the lack of information. So we've had a lot of people trying to bypass security, come back down the street. So it's been pretty chaotic.
And tell me again, Trinity, I know Sacramento, tell me why we're heading there again.
For my birthday and to see my grandparents, very excited, but yeah, we're going to be delayed now. Hopefully it won't be too long, but yeah.
Are there any plans for if you guys aren't able to fly out today by chance?
Well, we'll end up, looks like we'll end up doing a hotel and dinner somewhere if this doesn't pan out, so hopefully.
Yes, sir. Is there anything either of you want to add just about how it's been out here and just the waiting?
I have to say it would be nice if they gave us a little more information and kept us more informed. Other than that, we were surprised. So it's been interesting.
Yes, sir. Well, thank you both, and happy early birthday to you, Trinity. And again, guys, there have been multiple passengers out here. People telling me that they're trying to fly to Atlanta today, Knoxville, Tennessee. One couple even telling me that they're just going to have to drive tonight because their flight may not leave today. Reporting live outside of Jacksonville International Airport, Christina Burgess, First Coast News on your side.
Thank you, Christina. That gentleman was a picture of calm. He said it was interesting, that was his word, and they were just going to hang out in the shade. So we hope that they can do that. But it is hot outside. Wouldn't you know, we've had some really nice weather, but as Tim Deegan's been telling us in our weather team, it's toasty out there right now. So let's go back out now to Riley. And Riley, we want to tell people that the reason the airport is closed is there was a fire in the hourly parking garage. We are told that that fire is now contained or knocked down, as JFRD told you in their words. We do not have any reports of injuries so far. We did have an employee at the airport parking garage tell us that he understands that the third floor has collapsed onto the second. That is not confirmed, but he is an employee at that parking garage and someone told him that. But we do have officially word that there was a 95% capacity, full of cars. There were 2,000 spaces for cars, so 95% of 2,000. There were a lot of cars in that parking garage. Riley?
Yes, a lot of cars in that parking garage. Looks like a lot of cars even at the economy lot. And just now we're seeing a lot of cars just kind of stalled and stopped on the side of the road here as people figure out what to do. I'm joined now by George. George is flying out, supposed to be flying out today. And how long have you been here at the cell phone lot?
About 45 minutes now.
Yeah, and where are you heading to today?
I'm going to Houston.
Have you heard anything from your airline yet on whether flights delayed or canceled yet?
So no, the flights are not delayed for my flight, but I'm not flying out till 5 o'clock today. So for all you know, we'll get to know about it soon.
Yeah. And you told me you're here with a rental car, so you can't even turn in your car yet.
No, I can't turn in my car. So I can't just walk to the airport if that was an option available to me, because I got to, essentially put my car back in. And so we'll have to see what happens.
And you told me too, you got here early today.
Correct.
Do you regret that?
No, I'm at least glad that I'm this close to the airport. You never know what kind of a line would be there trying to get into the airport when they do open it up.
Yeah, and you say you fly into Jacksonville quite often throughout the year.
Correct, that's right. At least once a quarter, and I've lived here for 5 years in the past. So this is the first time something like this that I've experienced with Jacksonville.
Yeah. How are you feeling right now? Stressed, nervous, anything?
Glad that I'm not there in the parking lot when the fire was there, but just trying to figure out, okay, what I have to do next.
All right, well, thank you so much for joining us, George. We appreciate it. And yeah, like many people, like George, they are just waiting, trying to figure out what exactly they can do right now as we wait for more information from Jacksonville Fire Rescue. And we do know Mayor Donna Deacon is on her way here, so we should be getting a press conference sometime soon.
We do appreciate your help. Let's go to our Chief Meteorologist, Tim Deegan, and it's not the best day in the world in Jacksonville to be stuck outside with whatever you wore on the airplane, because sometimes airplanes are cold, and some people have a lot of clothes on, they've got suitcases, they're hot, and they are anxious to get out of the heat.
Yeah, I certainly feel for those people who are stuck there because it now feels like about 95 to 100 degrees and will through at least 6 or 7 o'clock. So another way to say that would be for those of you who are optimistic that maybe the planes will fly again. I would stay someplace where there's AC until you hear actually that the planes are going to go up later this afternoon. I'm sure we'll hear more about that. Visually, as far as me sharing anything more about the fire, I have nothing but relatively good news. I don't have any indications that the smoke is bad at all. Of course, I do not have an eyeball actually on the fire. This is Airport Road looking to the west. We're simply continuing to see traffic being forced to turn there. So even for those of you that maybe want to get close, you can't get close anyhow. As far as the actual winds, this is right at the airport now. When we show you W, that means west. That means winds are blowing from the west to the east. So another way to say that would be if there were billowing smoke, it would be blowing toward 95, that is toward I-95. Here's another way to look at it. Now I have the radar tweaked up, and what I mean by that, if you've been with us through the years or through the decades, although the radar, the Doppler radar, is there to show us showers and thunderstorms and severe weather, it also helps us with wind direction. It's pretty good with particulate matter like smoke if we have it tweaked that way, and I have it tweaked to pick up any type of smoke. Now admittedly, the radar is right at, this is the airport here, the radar is right at the airport site. So within a mile of the airport, we wouldn't see the smoke anyhow. But at least for a bit of positive news, and we've pretty much have heard this from Riley and from others out there, we don't see any sign. For instance, if the smoke was getting worse or was billowing in a really big way, we would, despite the blind sight, we would see a smoke plume heading off to the east into the northeast. So in other words, heading toward the north side or even spreading up into Nassau County. No signs of that at all. So that's just to reinforce what we think what we're hearing about. As Jeannie said, we're being told the fire has been knocked down. This is where the smoke would go. There probably was a brief period of that. We don't see that. Bottom line is, though, we continue with the heat, certainly out of concern for those folks there. But if you had plans to head to the airport, again, we're not going to tell you don't go, but you're being told to go away, or at least you're being turned away. And it's going to feel like 95 to near 100 degrees at the airport, probably beyond 6 o'clock tonight. Jeannie?
All right, we hope everybody has some water and they can keep hydrated. Thank you so much, Tim. Let's go back out live now. Our Christina Burgess is talking with passengers who are, I don't know how else to say this, stuck on the grass out there.
Yeah, I mean, Jeannie, that's exactly what it is looking like out here. I'm actually going to show you. There are passengers that have now sat right on the ground. They're next to their luggage. They're next to their backpacks. They're charging their phones. They're honestly waiting. A lot of them also making calls. There's about, I want to say, it's about a dozen people out here. They're under a tree as well. It's a very hot day here in Jacksonville. And so they're telling me that they're deciding to stand under this tree because of the heat. We're standing right next to the cell phone lot here at the airport. And people are telling me it's really just a long waiting game. And I'm actually joined right now by Sarah, who told me, how long have you been waiting out here, Sarah?
Really not that long, around 30 minutes, but my flight is in an hour and a half, so I'm holding out hope that I can make it. We'll see if I will.
And Sarah, where are you heading?
To Italy. Yeah, so it would be kind of a bummer to miss it, honestly, but we'll just see how it plays out. Yeah.
And tell me, if you don't mind, the plans in Italy when you're there. How long will you be there?
For sure. So I'm visiting some loved ones. We're going to spend 10 days there. I don't get a ton of vacation, so I was really excited, but this is one exciting way to kick off the vacation. Yeah.
And have you been able to call family or friends and tell them?
Yeah, I've been letting them know. Unfortunately, not all the airlines are marking the flights as delayed. They have to have some internal communication to let them know that the airport is actually on fire. I'm like, hey, I see a fire truck, and they're like, we have to hear word from the people who are at the airport in order for you to be able to rebook. And I think it really just is a waiting game, like you said. Yeah.
And I know you said you only been out here for 30 minutes, but did you see the garage fire in the parking lot, or did you see the smoke?
I saw the smoke, but what I think kind of started tipping me off was the traffic. They started cutting people off from getting into the airport, and we kind of took a side road to get in, and then saw all of this going on. Yeah.
And what went into your decision making? Like I was just saying, tons of passengers have now stood under this tree. What made you also want to come out here and join the group?
Well, I just wanted to be available to see if things did kind of turn and the tide changed a little bit. Plus, I have the day off and it's a beautiful day outside, so I'm like, might as well give it a go. If I can actually make it to Italy on time, then I'll do it. Yeah.
And as passing time, I've been asking all the other passengers, what are you doing to pass some time under this tree?
Using this time to talk to friends I haven't caught up with in a long time. So, yeah, really not too bad. Is kind of a bummer, but luckily I'm not too anxious of a traveler right now. Yeah.
Sarah, is there anything else that you're wanting to add that people should know? I know they're not out here with you and experiencing this, but is there anything else you want to add?
No, I hope things get resolved quickly. I hope everyone's all right. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Sarah, and I hope you make it to Italy and enjoy your trip with your family and friends. And I also want to add, Jeannie, that we've also been seeing fire trucks. There's also police cars that are blocking off. They're down there, but that's where they're blocking off, and that's how cars are unable to get past this point. Again, we are out here next to the cell phone lot at the Jacksonville International Airport. Christina Burgess, First Coast News, on your side.
She's going to make that flight to Italy, but we understand that we talked to Macy, was another passenger. She has a 4:55 flight to Atlanta that's still on the screen showing to her, but the airport is saying don't call the airport, check with your airlines about any kind of flights that you're wondering about right now. And we were told that they are hoping the airport will reopen at some time today, but that's still very, very iffy. We do have some information now from Jacksonville City Council President Randy White, and he has given us this information. He says, I am aware of the fire that JFRD responded to at the Jacksonville International Airport. First, I want to express my gratitude to JFRD, airport personnel, and all first responders who acted swiftly to ensure the safety of travelers and staff. At this time, I have been informed, this again is the City Council President, that there are no serious injuries reported and operations are being assessed to ensure safe resumption of services. The safety and well-being of our residents and visitors remain our top priority. My office, he says, is in communication with airport authorities and emergency management, and we will continue to offer support as needed. And the City Council President goes on to say, I encourage the public to follow official airport and city updates for the most accurate and timely information. We are thankful for the professionalism and dedication of those who serve on the front lines during emergencies like this. So we want to tell you that we will stay on your side following this breaking story. We have several crews at the airport right now, but again, the Jacksonville International Airport is closed right now. We will keep pushing out information, the latest updates, and you can do that by sending the link to yourself, and that is easy to do. You want the First Coast News app, just text the word app, APP, to 904-633-2402, and we'll keep the information updated for you In the meantime, everybody stay safe and stay patient, and we'll be back with updates just as soon as we get them. Thanks for joining us.
This has been a First Coast News On Your Side special report.
All right.
Trust the most accurate weather team. Stream now on First Coast News Plus.